The biggest problem that I have with Disney sometimes is that they play it far too safe. Andi Mack is supposed to be this groundbreaking show that a lot of people like to watch because of the fact that, I'm not going to say it's edgy, but it's just the fact that it's a little bit more serious than most Disney shows. And that's the reason why people like it, especially when they touch on issues such as teen pregnancy, as well as homosexuality or sexual preference. And also the fact that, they talk about, gender equality and certain things in there that should be talked about in this modern generation. But for this episode, it just felt like a bunch of filler in the very safest of ways. Now, this episode should have a little bit more weight to it because it kind of explains exactly why Bex left in the first place. So it actually supposed to hold a lot more weight. But this episode just feels like one of those shows that have everything tied up in a bow that episode and that's it. When it comes to Bex, it should be a lot more complex than that. And the one thing that I didn't feel they touched on was how she felt when Andi called her mother Mama instead of her. It seems like they didn't really go too much into detail with it. They just kind of wrapped it up in a bow. And then the next conflict that's coming on is the fact that her parents are moving and leaving the house, which is another thing that they're going to probably talk about a little bit later. And I know a lot of people have gone through that, especially losing your childhood home to your parents moving and stuff. But the biggest thing about that was what really, like, why Bex really left and how she felt when Andi called her mama. But the fact that she said she trusts her mom to take care of her, that she trusts Celia to take care of Andi because of how much she loved her, it should have hurt her more, and it should have made her feel like, you know what? The fact that you called her mama really did hurt me, but it was never your fault. And I knew that Celia really loved you a lot, so I knew that you would be in good hands, but it was still hard. It was still hard to stay around knowing that you didn't see me that way and knowing that no one saw me that way. But the fact that Celia came out and said how she felt just felt way too quick. It felt like everything was wrapped up into a bow because Celia literally treated her like she was nothing for an entire season. And now it's all wrapped up over this moment. And the fact that she wanted Bex to come back was to alleviate the curse of how she felt 13 years ago. I'm sorry. It just felt way too quick to wrap all that up in a bow, especially that being as complex of a situation as that is. Teen pregnancy is hard enough as it is for the person that actually did have the child, but it has to be even more difficult that your child considers your mother or her grandmother as the mother. That has to really get in your head a lot. And the fact that that's actually wrapped up so quickly, I'm like, seriously? But really the one thing that bothers me the most is that the friends are always separate. This is the second episode when they're separate and they come together when Cyrus gets hurt. Now, I don't know what they're trying to do here, but it seems to me that I don't know what they're going to do with Jonah. I really don't know. Jonah is a little bit too ditzy for his own good. But something is telling me that somehow Cyrus is going to come out and say how he felt, because after he broke his thumb, he feels liberated. So there could be a chance that maybe towards the season finale that he is going to come out and tell Jonah how he feels, which might either be an epic fail or the possibility that he might actually like Jonah too. And something is telling me that Jonah actually is bisexual too. I'm sorry, something is telling me that Jonah actually does like Cyrus and Andi. But to me, in my opinion, I don't think he likes Andi as much as he likes Cyrus. It's weird. They're probably going to make this somewhat of a storybook fairy tale for Cyrus, to actually have Cyrus have somebody that he likes. Which, in my humble opinion, is just the wrong way of doing things. Because let's be honest, the one thing that kind of bothers me about Disney is how they wrap stuff up, not only in a bow, but they make everything with a happy ending. If you really want something to be a little bit more realistic, you got to be realistic about the story. But somehow, I really have a feeling that Jonah is going to be bisexual too. Or just be completely gay. I don't know. But the next episode is supposed to be a little bit more about Amber. But, I mean, come on, we kind of knew that this was coming. That Amber was going to do a double cross and try to stab the back of Andi because she is secretly jealous of her. But besides all that, let's talk about Buffy. There are times that Buffy actually starts to grow on me as a character, and there are times she gets on my freaking nerves. But the one thing that I absolutely love about her is that she's starting to grow more as a friend, and you can actually see that her character is starting to have a lot of growth. The only problem that I have with this episode is that she went to the neighbor's house, I guess, just to get signatures for a grade. And it seems like that she started to grow a little bit more as a character, but then it also felt really stagnant. The fact that her neighbor pretty much lost all of her friends, all of her relatives, and all of her family, and all she does all day is play cards, you think that Buffy kind of want to be a little bit more interested in that and try to figure out what's going on, just, because she considers this person to be a friend. And it seems to me that this woman has more similarities with her than any of her friends. So I would love to see a little bit more going on into that, but we didn't really get that much. We just got a little tidbit of it. And then Cyrus broke a freaking thumb when he said his arm hurt, and all of a sudden he's wearing a cast but has a broken thumb? Seriously? And here's my question. How the heck did Jonah not know that this guy is accident prone? Especially the fact that he threw up on a merry-go-round, which is slow as molasses for those that have been on there. I don't know what to say about Jonah, but Jonah's the ditzy hot guy, just how Ethan Kraft was in Lizzie McGuire. Ethan Kraft was a ditzy hot guy, and that's pretty much what Jonah Beck is, a ditzy hot guy. I honestly started to like him towards the end of season 1 because he realized how he felt about Andi. But to me, you rarely see them together. And it's to the point where you're starting to see something going on with Cyrus. That they're actually going to start a love triangle between Andi, Cyrus, and Jonah. Which is odd because we really didn't see anything with Jonah until now. I know that they're trying to make this a bit trendy. They're trying to create more drama each episode. But create drama that's a little bit relevant towards what's going on. It seems to me that things are kind of out of place. It's like a Pulp Fiction kind of style when it comes to actually telling a story here. And it is bugging me a lot. But other than that, I really do think that just when they fail me, they always drag me in because they always seem to bring you further in with the next episode. The fact that she got, that Andy's gonna get stuck on a Ferris wheel for some reason, being with Amber, and she gets in trouble for that. I guess that should be interesting. But the one thing that does kind of make me a little bit more intrigued is how Bex is actually starting to become a mom. Slowly, day by day. And I really think that this is gonna be a season for Bex to grow than Andi to grow. Andi really wasn't developing any, in my opinion, for the scenes that I've seen, for the episodes that I saw on season 1, I felt that Andi was learning a little bit more about her family for the times that she was lied to for most of her life for 13 years. But Andi seems like she's already had a huge amount of growth since season 1, and she's kind of the mom to Bex. But now Bex is actually becoming a mom. The one thing that kind of bugs me about Celia is that even though she was a bit forgiving towards Bex, she still allows Bex to do her dirty work. The fact that Bex, it has to tell her that her family is moving out of the house that she's known for 13 years, and they're getting rid of the shack, which they're not going to. More than likely, either it's going to go to their apartment or it's going to go to their new house. We know they're not getting rid of Andy's shack. That's an iconic building of this entire series. Come on now. It's in the intro, for crying out loud. So I know they're not getting rid of it. But other than that, guys, my overall thoughts of this episode is this. This episode felt like such filler. It didn't have as much depth as I thought it would. It seems like everything was kind of glanced over, and it just wasn't so much put into it. Even though the huge chunk of the story, the main plot, was about why Bex left, it just felt like that it was done so quickly, brushed under the rug, done. Everything was wrapped up in a nice little bow towards the end of the episode, when something is a lot more complex than that. When it comes to actually giving up your child because your child thinks your mother is her mother, it's hard to wrap your head around. I'm sorry. That's not anything that you can cut off psychologically. That's going to always bother you a bit. And the fact that their relationship after 13 years of fighting got resolved on that day because of the fact that she finally saw her sacrifice, which her mom should have saw the sacrifice at first, bugged the crap out of me. And it just made this episode so rushed, and it just bothered me so much, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I should have. And it also makes me confused about Jonah. They're really trying to make Jonah gay. I'm like, okay, why? Like, why are you trying to give him an idea that he's gay? And it's not because of the fact that he is gay. With Cyrus was always gay. We've known that from the very beginning. And we knew that Cyrus was going to be confused about how he felt in the situation. Also, where's Iris? Was that even resolved? Did that officially end? That wasn't even there. The thing with Cyrus is that he was confused about how he's supposed to feel, which is huge because a lot of people at a young age who are gay don't know how to feel. This is new to them. Then you're going to have a possibility of Jonah liking Cyrus and then creating a love triangle with Andi. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping I am not overanalyzing this and I'm not seeing too much into it. But in my humble opinion, I really feel like this is the direction they might just go. I'm hoping I'm wrong. But also when it comes to Buffy, at least we're seeing some growth out of her. But with this episode, it just felt like it just plateaued and that was it. It might be different in the next episode because she made the all guys team. And since the captain is pretty much treating her like dirt, we're going to pretty much see a whole new side of her. Whether she's going to be broken by this or whether or not she's going to get stronger by this. And seeing how Buffy has a very dominating, overzealous, extraordinarily egotistical personality, it will be really interesting if this breaks her. Not that I really do want to see her break. It's just seeing a character that's strong-minded break for the first time really just brings her down to everybody's level. And that will be a really interesting thing to see and see how she'll grow from this. So I'm hoping that that might happen in the next episode, but who knows? But other than that, guys, let me know what you thought about this episode of Andi Mack and leave it in the comments below. Let me know your personal theories of whether or not you think that Jonah is going to be bisexual or gay, or whether or not he just wants a guy pal, or whether or not you think it's going to be a love triangle between him, Cyrus, and Andi. I want to know what you guys think about this. And also let me know how you feel about Buffy in the comments below. But other than that, guys, I am done here. I will see you later. Peace out.